Welcome guys to the Boss Tech Mo channel, YouTube channel, and welcome to our new video. This is, as you can see, totally unscripted video. We are, so to say, more or less not prepared for what goes now, but what is going now, but nevertheless. We had some great news and we wanted to share it with you as soon as possible, and there was no time for editing, preparing, writing scripts and so on. So this is, unscripted video to say it in short, and here we go. So the breaking news we wanted to share with you is about the Peppermint OS, because new Peppermint OS 11 is out, and this is the first release of the Peppermint OS operating system after the December 2019. Maybe some of you will not know that previous Peppermint OS main developer, Mr. Mark Greaves, died in January 2020, and since then there was no new release of the Peppermint OS operating system. But a new team has been formed and the guys has worked so hard, and now just yesterday they released a new version of the Peppermint OS, which is Peppermint OS 11, and there are many changes, and in this video we will try to see what's new and how it looks now. So first things first, now we have here Peppermint OS homepage, and this is the release announcement of the Peppermint OS 11. There are many new things concerning Peppermint OS, and maybe the most important one is that now Peppermint OS is based on Debian. That's the main point, because so far Peppermint OS had been based on Ubuntu's long-term releases. So for instance, the last Peppermint OS release from December 2019 was based on Ubuntu 18.04 long-term support release, and this new one is not based on 20.04 Ubuntu's long-term support release, but instead on Debian, and this is a new choice by the new Peppermint OS team. That's the main change. Second change is that now they use exclusively XFCE desktop environment. So far, maybe some of you will know that Peppermint OS was sort of mixture between LXDE desktop environment and with the components from the XFCE desktop environment. Now they totally moved to XFCE, and they use XFCE 4.16, and for you that are new to Linux, this means that this is the newest version of the XFCE desktop environment. XFCE is a lightweight desktop environment which is good for older hardware, but we sometimes say in our videos it doesn't matter. If you have newer hardware, even better for you, because your system will not be, you will have your system for the tasks you have to do and not for just for the glitz of the operating system. So let's open the release notes and see what's new in the Peppermint OS. Among the new features, they pointed out that now they have a new application called Welcome to Peppermint OS. And it allows you, as you can see, to quickly customize Peppermint by installing software. And that's a completely new thing that wasn't there before in Peppermint OS 10. Next thing they pointed out is Peppermint Hub. It's also a new app, which is a combination of previous Peppermint settings app and control center, and now with Peppermint Hub you can customize your system according to your liking. And there are many other changes in the Peppermint OS. So as you can see, as we have said in the video, all the LXDE components have been removed in favor of XFCE 4.16.2. Another thing which we noticed during the installation is that now they don't use anymore Ubuntu's Ubiquiti installer, but Calamaris installer. So here we will show you right now. In this machine we have installed we didn't have a time to install Peppermint OS on physical hardware, but instead we installed it in the VirtualBox to show you how it looks. But before that, let me show you just how it looks during the installation. This is when you first boot it up, install media within the VirtualBox, and then you see this is it. That's a Calamaris installer of the Peppermint OS. It's completely something new for the Peppermint OS. And then we took just one shot of the installation process so that you can see how it looks approximately. Now let's go directly to the system. We will now fire up the virtual machine of the Peppermint OS 11 to show you how it looks. We'll enter our password here. Let's switch to full screen, and that's it. This is new Peppermint OS. We haven't done really anything about it. We just finished updates. There were some updates and installed a web browser, because they do not provide web browser by default, because they expect you to install a web browser on your own, the one you like. We installed Firefox web browser, and obviously it's ESR, Extended Support Release, from the Debian repositories, and consequently it's an older version of the browser. It's Firefox 78.15, and now, as you may have known, now the Firefox is somewhere around 95 or 96 release, regular release. So this is an old version of Firefox, because now, as I have said before, Peppermint OS has moved from Ubuntu base to Debian base. This application, Welcome to Peppermint, allows you to install Peppermint extras, and which means that you can install Peppermint themes, Peppermint icons, and Peppermint wallpaper. As we have already said in the video, we haven't done anything with the system, so let's see what's this all about, Peppermint themes. So obviously you can install themes that have been previously within the Peppermint OS. I can show you right now that all of these themes you could find in Peppermint OS 10, which was based on Ubuntu. Let me switch to that particular release. We will be back in the Peppermint OS 11, but here we have a version of Peppermint OS 10 in the VirtualBox that we have installed months before, and that we use for testing purposes, of course. This is the first time that we do video in this form, so if there's any error or something, don't be harsh on us. Okay, let's type in our password here too. And this is our Peppermint OS built within the VirtualBox, but it's heavily customized, as you can see. This is nothing like it was right after installation. And let me show you the themes. As you can see, there are many themes now pre-installed. These were all pre-installed within the Peppermint OS 10. There were like desktop themes. Many of them were pre-installed, including in-house built ones like Peppermint 10, and with many colors. And there were also pre-installed numerous icon themes within the Peppermint OS 10. And this version was, as I've said before, based on Ubuntu, and it provided applications from Ubuntu repositories, but also from Flatpak and Snap platforms separately. They used a Linux Mint Software Center, and in addition to that, they used GNOME Software Center, or maybe better to say Ubuntu Software Center, at the time of Ubuntu 18.04. So Peppermint OS 10 is, in our opinion, one of our favorite distributions and provides many opportunities for users, and it's not only geared toward Linux enthusiasts but also towards beginner users. Let's see if that's the case. Now we'll try to see that during the video, if that's the case with Peppermint OS 11. Okay, let's go back to Peppermint OS 11. We will turn off this machine because it takes several seconds to go back, so I think we have enough time to switch back to Peppermint OS 11 and to look around what's going on there. So that was one of the differences. As they say, a minimum set of desktop wallpapers including during installation, so to get additional wallpapers you have to go to the application Welcome to Peppermint that we have just shown you, and they provided a streamlined set of icons and XFC themes within the system. So let's, Linux users do care a lot about look of their system. That's why many Linux YouTubers speak about icons and themes, because Linux users are proud of having options within their systems, which could not be said about some proprietary operating systems. So since it's the XFC desktop, we will see what they offer by default in Peppermint OS 11. Let's type in our password again. Let's show this in full screen. We'll put it down, and okay, we go to appearance. So as you can see, there aren't many themes pre-installed. So just several of them, and with the icons, just several of them again. So it's not as much as in Peppermint OS 10 as we have previously seen in the video. So if you want to play around with themes, with icons, you have to install Peppermint Extras. Let's check about wallpapers. So just 4 of them pre-installed. There were dozens of them pre-installed in Peppermint OS 10, so you really have to install it via this application. They also provide ICE tutorial, and that's an application. ICE is an application which makes your web pages into desktop applications. So you take a web page that you like, and with ICE application you turn it into a desktop app. Open Pep Hub, that's a new application we've previously spoken about, through which you can customize your system. As we have already said, this is the first time we open Peppermint OS. We didn't have a time to play around with it and to see what's going on, so we are dealing with this together, like this. There's obviously an appearance section, but as we have seen previously, it doesn't offer too much. Here's the settings application, and now this is XFC application, standard XFC settings application. Maybe you remember or not, but within the Peppermint OS 10, previously we've seen the settings application, which was LXD settings application. So they moved completely to XFC components. So they still stick to the so-called Windows-like workflow. We have a desktop with the panel at the bottom of the screen. panel is a little bit small for our taste. It's 32. We usually make our panels bigger. There's a clock in the bottom right hand corner, volume controls, updates, battery, and so on. And here we have shortcuts. They also provide Synaptic Package Manager by default, and that's the same as in Peppermint OS 10. For you that are new to Linux, particularly to Debian-based systems, Synaptic Package Manager is one of our favorite applications, and it's a graphical application that enables you to install and uninstall software. And basically, when working with Synaptic Package Manager, you don't have to deal with the command line at all. Let's see what they offer pre-installed within the system. This is the standard XFCE's whisker menu. Within the accessories, they have usual stuff. We can't see any difference from before. Development, that's a new category. They didn't have development section before. Internet, only Firefox, CSR, and ICE. That's the application we've told you about. So, for instance, let me show you how it works. For instance, you open like DuckDuckGo page, you copy its URL, let's name it duck, enter web address, we'll leave it into internet, and you can choose your own icon or use site favicon. We'll use site favicon and apply. And now you have DuckDuckGo search as your desktop application, and it opens it in separate window with no other controls of your browser. So it really behaves as a desktop application. That's the point of the ICE application. We just wanted to show you that. Within multimedia, there's only pulse audio volume control. So obviously, Peppermint OS team has made a further step towards leaving to users to install what they want to install. They do not impose on you anything that you may not want. Settings, there are many applications here, and as I can see, all of them are basically standard XFC settings applications. And system, this is another interesting application, GDebi Package Installer. It enables you to install .deb files. Actually, those are installation files, something very similar to .exe Windows files. So you just double click it and install it. And this application, GDebi, provides you that with that option. So let's see. Their file manager is in XFCE. A standard file manager is Thunar. We'll just kick out the guest editions of the VirtualBox. We had to install it so that we can see it full screen. And this is, yeah, again, as they used the Nemo file browser before in Peppermint OS, and they kept using it, so that's okay. Nemo is one of the best and one of our favorite file browsers in Linux, and it's an excellent file browser, so Peppermint OS team stick to Nemo as their default file browser. They didn't take Thunar, so that's a good one. So this was basically just a first look at the Peppermint OS. We will promise right now that we are going to do a full review of Peppermint OS 11. This was just a brief first look at it. Let's go back to their page to see what else they say in their release notes. So more information can be found here about Peppermint OS. Of course, any help that you might need, you can find info on forum peppermintos.com. They have very friendly community, and usually if you put some question or something in their categories on their forum, you will be answered very soon. You won't wait for long to get your answer. And this is very huge difference, because we have been using Peppermint OS 10 for quite a long time, and Peppermint OS in general for years, and this is really something completely new. And we just, within this video, we just wanted to share with you what's new in Peppermint OS 11. We are glad that this distribution still exists, that it didn't cease to exist when their main developer died in January 2020. So congratulations to Peppermint OS team, and we just want to thank them for their effort to, make Peppermint OS running. Let's go back to Peppermint OS 10. So, final thoughts. In our opinion, Peppermint OS 10 was very easy on for new users, but I think that experienced Linux users could not complain about anything when it comes to Peppermint OS 10. Is it so like that in Peppermint OS 11? Is it for Linux enthusiasts only, or new users can be included too? Judge it for yourself. This is just the first impression video on Peppermint OS 11. Thanks for your time. Thanks for being with us, and see you again. Bye.